It is 4 in the morning, Ryan Davis.
Oh, why are we still awake?
All this pixel junk in my system is preventing me from sleeping.
Dude, I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Well, I don't think you're gonna make it, bro.
And also I gotta take a pee test.
Oh, then we are extra screwed here.
I got all of this pixel junk.
We're too busy listening to Arena 08 session from Nottingham, UK.
This is what the hell is this, Jeff?
PixelJunk 4am is a music creation and exploration tool.
Device.
Item.
Application.
Yeah.
We're not saying game though.
No, we are definitely not saying game.
Okay.
But we are gonna play it.
Okay.
Now.
Now, folks at home don't get the full breadth of this experience because they can't see that you're holding a Move controller in your hand here.
Yeah. So I'll kind of walk through.
So this is just for me.
Some of the different things that I'm doing.
I'm gonna even turn my back to the TV. And
yeah,
just
this
look
is
at
your
Jeff.
own personal quick look here.
It's right here. Stare at the green orb.
If you just, my eyes are up here.
Nope. Okay, now there we go.
All right. So we have access to this track here, and we're gonna dive in here. So there's a social aspect to this, and you saw when I was talking about our man from Nottingham.
Mm-hmm. You've gone viral.
I've decided to promote my show here.
By the way, does that mean it's going to hit your Twitter and your Facebook?
No, I didn't connect Twitter and Facebook to it.
But you can.
You can if you like. And so here we are. And with the Move controller,
I'm gonna turn up my headphones on.
Yeah. Put these on. Turn mine up while you're at it. Just really let it rattle around in there. So with the Move controller, I have full control of this track.
Full control, Jeff?
So, well, some kind of control.
Okay.
And depending on how I move the Move, different things happen. There are 4 tracks to work with. I can hit the face buttons. Now, you're not going to see a lot of that on the screen. But the Move bulb changes color when I change between tracks, letting me know, as the master of this sound, what I'm currently working with. So I can use that to bring in loops. And you'll see the visualizer will make some stuff there as I'm bringing in these tracks. So now we have the hi-hats in there, and now that I have that track, I believe, still selected. No, okay, let's bring in another track here. So I'm doing a little cutoff knob here by holding down the Move button and tilting.
Kind of twisting there.
Yeah, kind of twisting the Move.
Okay. You kind of see some of the lines there becoming more prominent as you're messing with that instrument. Still going pretty abstract though, and like when you were pulling in stuff, it didn't like it's.
Well, so pulling in stuff is done in the 4 corners of the space. Mm-hmm. When I move the Move controller out to the corners of my reach, the controller vibrates. When it vibrates, that's to let you know you're in the zone to grab a loop from this space using the trigger, then bring it into the middle, let off the trigger to add the loop.
Okay. And you just kind of see like one of those little threads quickly appear and then disappear. Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's pull in something from the lower right here.
Right now, this seems like a bunch of techno nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to PixelJunk 4am.
Got it. Okay. I guess it's a matter of just, how much flexibility it has with letting you manipulate that techno nonsense and, I guess, the breadth of the techno nonsense.
So you hear the track I have control of here.
Yes.
You hear that cutoff there.
It's the hi-hat.
So that's me doing a wrist twist.
Yeah.
But if I go forward and back, that'll be reverb.
Yeah. So you're able to move forward and back and twist at the same time.
And then if I start going up and down, left and right, there are additional effects associated with those motions as well. At any point, I can double tap the thumb button to turn off all effects on a track and just take it back to its default. Now, each one of these tracks that you drag in from the corners will eventually fade out.
Okay.
So it'll eventually just kind of go back to a real basic sounding nothingness, and unless you're dragging loops out there fairly regularly. Like that.
So the PixelJunk 4am has a bunch of different.
I'm feeling it.
Has a bunch of these different preset kind of loop sets here that it's.
Yeah, each one of the tracks you can pick, and there are multiple songs to choose from in the game, will come with its own set of loops to work with, and they've put together a collection of tracks in different formats from the artists that they've been working with.
Oh,
someone's watching.
That's what that means?
Yeah, that one in the corner there, that means I got one person in the crowd. And I think from the lines there at the bottom, that means they're liking it.
Okay.
So what you can do as a viewer, should I jump out of this and should I get into the viewer mode? We can jump around and see what other people are up to.
I'm curious here, like all of your movements thus far have been super controlled and deliberate.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything to be had from just kind of flipping out with it?
Yes. So kind of the last thing there is if I start banging the controller against the theoretical
edges of the space.
So when I jerk down here, I can play that.
Okay.
Right side. Uh-oh.
And that's how you drain the battery of your Move controller.
And left.
Okay.
So that's kind of the most direct thing you can do.
Okay.
So now it looks like we have 2 people watching, or 3 people watching total, 2 people in the crowd. Numbers I'm not super clear on. I just like to feel it, man. If you want a track to fade in, you can, like I did there, you can slowly release the trigger when you're bringing a track in from the edge.
I noticed there's a little tutorial at the first menu. Does it explain kind of like these nuanced stuff?
All this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting because it really lets you kind of... It really puts you out there. I mean, a lot of stuff, when they try to do simplified kind of music creation stuff for consoles, a lot of the time everything is automatically synced to line up on, the end of a fourth measure or something like that, like just drop in a spot that makes sense. With this, it keeps everything on beat, but I can add that kick in anytime I want.
Yeah.
And it keeps everything in tempo and on beat, but it doesn't necessarily wait until like, all right, and this would be the end of 4 bars, here's where it would cut in. Here's where you would turn on the kick drum.
Sure.
As a result, you can kind of create stuff that doesn't always mesh well and doesn't always sound great. But I guess I kind of appreciate that because it then makes it so this does require a little bit of skill to do. I
do wish that it built a little bit better. Like I feel like this is...
Well, that's on me though. I mean, that's...
right,
if I waited 16 bars to then before I went and dragged in another loop, then it would build.
But I mean, just as far as like, it's hard for this to really go anywhere. It's like you can throw in loops, and you can tweak those loops, and then eventually they will fade away. It's at no point is it going to sound very radically different from this basic sound.
Yeah, like it'd be kind of cool if you could just store a specific sound that you have going at a moment. And then call that back, like almost use that as like, okay, when I start like a verse or something like that, I want this to be where it starts.
Well, maybe it's just because this particular set here is just very percussion oriented. You don't have that ability to like use a cutoff and like a reverb effect and something else on like a synth line, which if you tweak it enough can sound like something else completely different. But this is supposed to be the sound of 4 a.m. in a club. I guess this is pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's jump out of here then, Jeff, and see
so
some of the viewer.
With that, we can take a look at some other people's live streams, and then also get a sense of what some of the other tracks in the game sound like.
Yeah.
So I haven't done a ton of this yet, of doing other people's stuff. 6 kudos, 3 crowd. Not bad, not bad. So the live viewer is actually free. If you just want to watch other people's stuff, you can just download this. It is the whole game. It's like the kind of the demo version of the game, really. All right, so that guy's doing what we were doing, so I don't want to hear that.
Experimental Jet.
Experimental Jet is on from Arizona. I don't know about Arizona beats. Oh, is this guy saying if you like if you like what you hear, go to my SoundCloud? That's like kind of cool. We already heard a little bit of the dude in Nottingham. Utah. What do you think about Utah?
I love Utah.
What's up in Utah, bro?
With a track called One Day in Kyoto. Perfect.
Kyoto, Utah. So you see, I guess, it's technically 3 tracks kind of in one thing. So maybe this does have a larger transition between.
Maybe we were just dabbling around in the very beginning of this.
Like a set.
Yeah. So distinct look even in the visualizers here,
right?
From one track set to the
you'll
next.
get different visualizers every time you load up, or not infinite number of visualizers, but I've done that starting track a couple of times, and it's been different visualizers each time. So now that we're watching someone else, I can shake the controller as I was doing right there to give kudos, like to say hey, I like what you're doing, and then that visual feedback is transmitted through the power of the internet, and love and the eternal heart and plurness and all that stuff through the other end, so that the person doing the manipulating can see it.
What do they get then out of that?
The trophies, I don't know.
So it's not like there's a progression.
Well,
like
they
a store
see
or anything.
No, they see that feedback also, and then the numbers go up.
Sure.
They get higher numbers.
Okay.
Something we can all relate to. A higher number.
They can take that back to the blacksmith.
Yeah.
And increase his abilities.
You get blacksmithing pages, and then you have to use that. Like, you can upgrade your tracks to a certain extent, but then you need better blacksmithing pages to go too much beyond that.
Makes sense.
Not really digging what this guy's doing.
No.
I'm shaking the controller anyway because I like to be supportive to our friends in Utah. So you can follow individual users if you like. And if you sit in the menu, it'll actually just dive into someone's performance kind of automatically, which is smart. Let's see. Now, should we go into someone else doing that same track?
Yeah, let's see Arena 08 here. It's got a big crowd.
Yo, dog, Arena 08 is spinning. We got to get down there. Bring your glow sticks, because they are used to control the video game. And with this part of the game, you can actually just use a controller. You don't necessarily need to use the move for the viewing.
Okay. Sure, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. It's like that phaser effect is up and down when you're holding down the button, I believe. But you're always going to be flipping these existing loops and tracks.
Right.
It's not necessarily full-on music creation gear.
No, I do still kind of wish that it just went even just a little bit further.
Yeah.
If not creation, with at least manipulation or some kind of sequencing. I get the idea of like making it as abstract and simple as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of just supposed to be. You feel it, man.
Yeah, it's a toy. It is not anything that you would consider to be really a tool, because it's not Not flexible enough.
I found myself wishing that it just dispensed with the visualization and just said, you have loop 16 in here. Now you want loop 5. And
I mean, the idea...
You're cut off on each one of these tracks and reverb on each track. And
the idea of using the move controller in this way and like the idea of like dragging in tracks by pulling from the corners, like there's something intuitive and
like
pretty
that's
smart about
very
that.
cool. Like the tutorial is absolutely key. You're not going to get very far without it. But as I was doing it, I was like, oh, this actually like kind of makes real natural sense for what this is. This guy is just spacing out, man.
Right. See, this I'm appreciating maybe a little more than the last guy.
Yeah.
He's standing next to the laptop, and he's got those two knobs.
Every knob is turned all the way down.
Except for these two, that he's just tweaking and just nudge it a little bit.
Can't shake this controller any harder. It doesn't let you just shake forever. Eventually, it does go away. So and it's just not a ton of feedback about whether is that me giving feedback or is that he's getting feedback from other users or what's. I'm not really clear on it, but that's kind of the point.
I guess
in a lot of cases,
it's
not necessarily meant to be spelled out for you.
Is there anything else to PixelJunk 4am, Jeff, or is that?
As far as I can tell.
Like there's multiple tracks than the one we saw, but
4am, yeah.
What's this run? What are they asking for this?
Oh man, I totally just bought it. I want to say it's $10.
Okay.
Let me look up my email here, and it'll say thank you for making a purchase from the PlayStation Network, and
That's it.
All kind of the same stuff. Well, let's get into someone who's in the track we were in.
See what they're doing with it.
While I look at my email here.
See if maybe we luck into another visualizer.
Text message from Rich Gallup here. Hello, Rich. He's on Twitter now, you know.
Great.
Yeah. It's like a citizen of the modern age.
I didn't know that.
Thank you for your purchase. $9.99. There you go. Well, see, now this sounds quite different from what we were into earlier.
For sure.
And I like this visualizer a lot.
Yeah, this is not a bad one. Seems like this is, good for spacing out.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just load it up and get to the menu, like the live viewer is free. So if you just want to like have it on in the background and get ambient, maybe even occasionally illbient,
that's free of charge.
That's free of charge. And they need that because it's like a big part of it is you're performing for a crowd. Right. So by giving away the viewer, they give the potential for those crowds to form, which is smart of them to do. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool thing. It's goofy and I wish that there's some things that I wish that it had as someone who knows like just enough about music creation to be dangerous. But that's not what this is. That's not what this is trying to be.
I guess not.
I think it's pretty cool, though.
Well, that's
just the same.
PixelJunk 4am, $9.99 on the PlayStation Network.
Yeah,
free if you want to just view it.
Just get the viewer, man, and then follow me, and then we'll trip out into space
at 4am.
Space Pong. Space Pong.
Well, thanks for giving us a tour of your drug-addled mind, Jeff.
No problem, man.